Porsche 911 GTS 2021 review. But before we start, please support us by pressing the like and subscribe buttons, so that we can continue to provide information about car and motorcycle news. Also turn on the bell button to get the latest updates. Your support means a lot to us. Thank you. What is it? It's now more than a decade since Porsche introduced to its latest extra special 911 derivative, the GTS, although you might wonder whether anyone, besides those who actually bought and sold them, really noticed at the time. There were modern GTS models before the 997, of course, in the Panamera and Cayenne showroom ranges, and there have been others since among the firm's Macan and 718 models, so this is a complicated equation to consider. But is the 911 GTS really a thing yet? We anticipate and expect a new 911 GT3, don't we, just as we do a turbo, or even a whole new 911 model generation debut. But a 911 GTS? It feels almost like a mid-range trim level. Perhaps it won't for very much longer, because Porsche has said about this new 992 GTS with a good deal more intent than it did either of its predecessors. Just as before, there are new GTS versions of both the Carrera Coupe and Cabriolet, and of the Targa bodystyle. You can have one with either one driven axle or 2, and 8 automatically selected PDK gear ratios or 7 manually shuffled ones for the same price. But while the last GTS was mechanically hardly any different than a Carrera S with optional PASM Sport suspension and an engine power upgrade kit, the new one has upped its game, its price and its suspension specification each by notable hikes. What's it like? In the engine compartment, the GTS uses an uprated version of the 3.0-liter turbocharged flat 6 that powers the regular 992 Carrera, one developing an extra 30 horsepower over a standard Carrera S, and with a similar advantage on torque. That engine blows through a specially tuned active exhaust, and makes its presence heard in the cabin thanks to the removal of much of the noise insulation of the regular model. But it's the suspension specification that's the biggest departure, because rather than starting with Carrera S axles and working upwards, Porsche based this GTS on the suspension hardware and running gear of the more powerful turbo and road back. That means the GTS rides 10 mm lower than a Carrera S, and uses the same width body rather than the wider body of the turbo. But it also has turbo grade, mixed width 20 and 21 inches centerlock alloy wheels, turbo specification uprated iron brakes, and turbo-derived suspension with helper springs on the rear axle and all new PASM adaptive dampers at all corners. The word is those dampers will be rolled upwards onto the Turbo and Turbo S lines as part of their next model year revisions, by which you can already surmise that they must be pretty darn good. The new GTS's exterior identifying features are familiar from the last one. Think black badges, black alloy wheels and plenty of oh-so 2021 dark chrome styling features. The Targa gets a darkened faux rollover hoop too, if you like that sort of thing. On the inside you get a GT specification steering wheel, lots of race tech suede upholstery, some new trim decor options and, if you go for a manual rather than a 2-pedal PDK car, a slightly stubbier gear lever than an equivalent Carrera S gets, for a shorter, quicker shift action. There's also an all-new Porsche Communication Management 6.0 infotainment system which comes with deep integration of Apple Music and podcast services, as well as wired smartphone mirroring for Android handsets, at last. Porsche offers the usual raft of dynamics enhancing options, among them lightweight carbon ceramic brakes, active anti-roll bars and 4-wheel steering. Go for a GTS coupe, though, and you can have the 4-wheel steering thrown in as part of Porsche's lightweight package. It cuts 25 kilograms from the GTS's homologated curb weight via the fitment of carbon fiber bucket seats, lightweight glazing, a lightweight 12-volt battery, and by the jettisoning of the car's occasional back seats, and it also adds a few aerodynamic tweaks to the car's bodywork. Our test car had that package, and among many other things was a reminder that Visox buckets might be the most comfortable fixed backrest sports seats of their kind that you'll find in any comparable car in the world. They look quite hardcore, but you could genuinely do 500-mile days in them without the slightest complaint. Even so, the GTS recipe sounds very mini GT3 doesn't it? And just when Porsche dealers needed something to offer buyers who weren't fortunate enough to have been offered the hugely sought-after real thing, how convenient. On the road, though, the new car is a significantly milder-mannered, daily drivable thing than Porsche's latest track day special. It can be that bit faster, flatter, grippier and more exciting than a regular 992, but it's also hardly any coarser or less supple riding. That it's rawer sounding and more dramatic than a Carrera S certainly ought to please those who have considered the regular 992 a bit soft and unexciting hitherto. There's perceptibly more urgency to the way the GTS accelerates through the mid-range, still lots of free revving flexibility and stamina beyond 6,000 revolutions per minute, and a clearer and more compelling Porsche typical turbine howl about the engine note when you've got the exhaust valves fully open and the throttle flexed. That's all just the ticket. A little bit of turbo lag is apparent under big, sudden pedal applications, but only enough to add welcome spice to proceedings. Porsche's chassis changes, meanwhile, give the GTS sharpened body control and boosted handling precision compared with a Carrera S, and particularly impressive high-speed vertical body control. At motorway speeds the car's level composure is supremely good. It's supple enough to absorb a fast, longer wave lump, but so well damped that you feel almost no rebound whatsoever, the inputs just melt away. The car moves just enough to remind you where its weight is, but not an inch more, and never aggressively or repetitively. It's brilliantly judged.
Thanks for watching. Drop a like, leave a comment, and don't forget to subscribe to watch more videos like this.